So, we're gonna party, see?
Yep, I see.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Haas and we're looking at a new game here, Mars Warlogs. A futuristic cyberpunk game from Spiders and published by Focus Home Interactive and currently only out for PC. It is a third-person action RPG that takes place on, well, unsurprisingly, Mars. This short post-apocalyptic story supposedly features a variety of quests and dynamic combat, but does Mars Warlogs make the journey to the Red Planet worth it?
You are now in Camp 19. If you watch your step, we will get along just fine.
Mars Warlogs takes place a century after a cataclysm that threw the entire solar system in disarray. The colonists on Mars now struggle to survive, and previous water supply companies have formed into entire guild governments that are duking it out amongst each other. You are put in the shoes of Ray Temperance, a multi-talented renegade, and, well, you don't start off in the best of locations because you're immediately in a prisoner of war camp. Even worse, you're stuck with people that have some really messed up faces. The first thing you'll no doubt notice are the terrible facial animations of the characters, which actually seem to become less of an issue as you get to the final stages of the game, but you know, that may have just been my brain phasing them out. Beyond this, the game won't blow you away with its graphical fidelity, but it is certainly nice to look at, and if you're a fan of red and orange dust, you've come to the right place. The actual lore and universe created has a ton of potential and hits quite a few interesting nerves, with guilds taking on virtue names leading to some pretty obvious puns, or entire parts of humanity being transformed into these degenerate mutants. Although you never get to feel much of the actual war, it'll definitely set the tone well for this being a post-apocalyptic universe. Sadly, the game will also take you out of this plenty of times. The dialogue can be absolutely horrendous and feels incredibly rushed. Plenty of adult themes are flung around, and it is nice to see the game packs no punches, but practically every conversation will have moments that feel straight up comical. Most of the time you'll be wondering if you missed something, because most story moments simply lack scenes to properly explain the events that just occurred. Pair this up with the highly questionable voice acting, and you got yourself a story with potential, but dialogue that just doesn't connect. Voiceovers are incredibly on and off. Essentially, all the side NPCs, but a very select few, sound either incredibly monotone or highly overdone. The main character, Roy Temperance, does a decent job, but in most other cases the pacing feels completely off. Additionally, the game never seems to have any major intimidating antagonists or personal motive.
His name's Temperance, but he calls himself Roy. He refuses to join us, he's a renegade. You must be careful, it's said that he's armed.
During your travels, you'll here and there gain companions, which, all but the first, depend on your choices. And choices are something you'll actually make quite a few times. The game features a morality system, but this doesn't stand out that heavily. Essentially, you can end the lives of everyone you fight by extracting the serum from their veins, the main currency of the game. This will set you up to be a more hostile character, but on the flip side, you can simply steal all their goods and then leave their serum inside their unconscious bodies. And this is represented a little within dialogue, but it'll never seem incredibly obvious or apparent. Dialogue choices, on the other hand, have a bigger impact, locking you out of certain quests, avoiding fights, and resulting in one of two major endings. Combat itself is predominantly melee, but Mars Warlogs allows you to specialize through the use of a skill tree. This skill tree will change your effectiveness in combat, allowing you to focus on aspects such as stealth, or abilities such as nail guns, traps, or the curious magic-esque technomancy. And this skill tree is certainly quite capable and offers enough variety and specialization. Combat itself is far from perfect, but in the large picture it is enjoyable. On one end, the hitboxes can be completely off at times, resulting in it feeling a little clunky and causing you to miss attacks that you simply should not have, or get hit by attacks that you seemingly dodged. The camera too can be an issue due to the fact that you're fighting in very small spaces. Because of this, it is often obscured, giving you a bad overview of the battle. But on the other hand, combat has a nice sense of impact, with every attack feeling as if it has certainly quite a bit of punch behind it. It is quick, with a heavy focus on parrying or dodge rolling, and performing a critical strike causes time to slow down, allowing you to, appreciate the impact of hitting a guard with your electric mallet as you see him stagger while you prepare to hit him with another lightning bolt to his back. Your companions also assist you in battle, and you can somewhat decide their behavior with command orders, but this, however, is mostly useless. Companions are, in the end, simply there, and beyond serving as a very small distraction, they are neither in the way or a huge help. Finally, enemy variety isn't amazing by any standards, and you'll mostly be fighting human opponents that come in a few flavors. A nice touch, however, is that enemies wearing helmets or goggles are unaffected by your sand-throw blinding attacks. In the end, combat is simply fun. It has enough capable mechanics and force behind it for it to stay entertaining throughout, but it won't blow your socks off, which I'm not sure if they even have in this universe to begin with. Another aspect often associated with RPGs is of course loot. And almost every fallen enemy will be carrying some of this on them, mostly in the form of crafting pieces. Sadly, there isn't much actual armor or weapon variety, and this is something that I definitely felt was missing throughout the game. I practically used the same weapon and armor that I found halfway through the game for the entirety of it. Luckily, there is an interesting crafting and upgrade system in place, and this is where the crafting loot comes into play. Most items can be upgraded with hilts or cloth handles, and this not only gives them a boost in effectiveness, but also has a nice visual representation. And of course, more spikes the merrier. Mars Warlogs is a game of potential. The themes and universe created by spiders is certainly curious, but it is often let down by the badly written dialogue and pacing of the story, or the sometimes horrendous voiceovers. Graphically, it is an appealing game, and the environments and music is all there. The combat is largely enjoyable and has a nice punch behind it. The skill system and crafting mechanics are nice, but the lack of variety within loot is a huge letdown. In the end, Mars Warlogs is an above-average game that will certainly be an enjoyable experience for those looking for a nice little third-person RPG and are willing to forgive it for its diamond-in-the-rough state. My name's been Haas, I'll see you guys on the next review, and for now I definitely look forward to seeing how spiders can build upon this universe.